Okay, good afternoon, gents. Hope everyone is well. JP, good morning. How you doing, buddy? Brick, good afternoon. Indy, good morning, everyone. David, hi. How are you all? Okay. We have got some news coming up in just a little over 30 minutes. I have been watching this, actually. Looks like a nice channel, actually. May get a new low, but it could also be a range. So it's only actually touched it twice, although it does seem to fit. So maybe we'll get a push up and another push up and then drop down. Who knows? Rodian, how you doing, my friend? So yeah, let's just pop something on here for the news so I don't forget. Dr. Linny, how are you? A bit rushing, bit behind today. I had to take my car and have the air conditioning recharged. So I've literally only got here about 10 minutes ago. So normally I'll be watching it for a while. Okay, so although we've only touched twice, it just clearly seems to be working in there. So I'm just going to have to keep an eye on this. We've had this channel. Sometimes we'll get a leg up, then another leg up, and then it'll fail and come down. So if we can get maybe a lower high, and I'll tell you why I'm interested. There's a lot of liquidity down here at 43.70, which is here, which is just below this, interestingly enough. So that is taking my interest. Let's have a look. Yeah, 370. There's some further down as well. Excuse me. So if we can get a good setup, then I'll be interested into just down to this, the official open. What tough one here? Yeah, measured move down, not reach, but yeah. Although it only touches twice, it actually looks really good, doesn't it? I mean, I did try it like that, but it doesn't fit along the back. Are we open? Actually, not yet. Okay. It actually just the actual the angle of it and the slope of it seems to work. I mean, maybe it isn't, but we'll obviously find out now. If we can push below it and give us maybe a failure or something like that, then that may be something of interest. Excuse me, just 1 second. Okay. Let's have a look. Here we go. Let's have a look at this. I have to be careful I don't get trapped. Okay, so you could call that a failure. Let's forget all that. You could call that high or low, which is triggered. Also, I've just noticed we've come down, gone up once, gone up twice. This could possibly be a triple test. One leg up, two legs up to come down. So let's see what happens here. Market is officially open anyway, so let me just get rid of some of this lag. Let's keep an eye on this. I'm just going to get
order submitted.
Get an order there ready just in case. Leg up, leg up. Now I don't think it's going to work unless that comes down sharply and drops below that line, which it looks like it might do. No. Okay, so if we continue to push down through here, then maybe get something lower, but I'm not taking that. You may hold, yeah. Does that channel fit better as an overshoot? Yeah, it's possible. Well, I mean, it's a tiniest bit, so I would argue it probably isn't. See, look at this. Now, this will either trap some people, or it will come down and look for a new low. I'm not going to get involved in this until we get through there because it could trap you. It might not, but it might. Could go up there, see. Let's have a look. Maybe we get another push up here and a drop. We'll see. It's going to be a failure for me unless that drops below the EMA. But I'd rather it push below the EMA and then pull back and then drop again. Be nice to get a trade early for once. I mean, you could say that is a triple test, really, in all fairness. Once, twice, three times it's pushed up and come down, so it's hard to say. I think, from what I'm seeing, it's likely to come down. I think you can call that once, twice. The fact that it's gone up and it's come down but it's a little bit congested and the market's just opened. So I'm just going to sit tight on here. Could go either way, really, but the way it's pushing up there, it might trap some. Yeah, see, that's what I mean. I'm not convinced that channel's right, although it seems to fit in it nice. But maybe I don't know, maybe it's something like this. I mean, it could be like a little spike in a channel. It fits nice at the back end. I mean, that could work, and a break and a new low. But based on this, now if we can get something a bit lower, but look at that. So that would have worked. Yeah, I think people are treating that as a triple test by the looks of things. Let's see if we can get a failure. A break above here would be nice. It pushes up and then drops, I'm in on that one. But it's hard to say. It may come up and stop out. Yeah, it's looking a bit dicey now. Interesting. See, that's triggered. I'm going to be careful. Even if that pushes down here, I'm not going to be a fan. It's going to be a big old bar, that. So let's just...
Order cancelled.
So if you took that just for a couple of points, you got your points there. We had that strong push down there, but it's hard to know what's going on here, really. You could look at that multiple different ways. I mean, even if you do it like that, it actually fits nice along the back. Just because that hasn't got to the top doesn't mean it's not a good, it's not a channel. As a lot of the times we pull back to the main, we don't get to the top of the channel. But okay, so that looks like to be a bit of a trap, I'd say. So this is moving up now, I'd say. Maybe a bit of a spike in channel. Let's have a look. So yeah, a little bit congested there. It did drop, so if you took one of those, it did drop and give you a couple of points. But these type of trades where we look for a new low and we have a decent setup, especially when we got quite a distance below there, I tend to go for the full 4 points, and that wouldn't have done it. Even from there, I don't think. No, it wouldn't have done. Morning, Tyler. How you doing, buddy? Measured move at 43.85. Yeah. By the looks of things, it's probably going to get up to these highs, I think, isn't it? Excuse me. Let's not forget this news. Sometimes although I've got that staring right in front of me, that focus on the market, you tend to forget about the news. I wish there was an alarm you could have, which would flash or something. Hey, Sam, must be something you could have, some sort of an add-on to give you a flashing alarm, every couple of minutes leading up to the news or something. If you accidentally trade for the news, it can be severely costly. Okay, so that's clearly played out. So we seem to have a leg, sideways, and another leg. So that will be, I'd say, a separate measured leg, quite likely. Yeah, leg. A bit of sideways and a leg. It's almost like a bull flag, but with a small flagpole. So that's played out as well. So let's see what happens here. You're in for the overnight highs. Yeah, we're there, aren't we? Okay, so until this breaks out, retests and continues higher, we're ranging at the moment. $87 to 90. Yeah, so there's some liquidity, 87 to 90. So I'll expect it to push above there. Ah, 87 to 90. Yeah, I'd certainly expect that to push into this area here. There's also some at 97, whether we get up that high or not. $750. About there. Okay, that's starting to push in here now. Now it's 90 and under, so let's see how high that can go. Interesting. Okay, the last big orders are around about 90. Often now, the overnight session is bearish and the bulls take it back right in the open. I know some people do trade the opens, don't they? Excuse me. It's certainly useful to watch the open and see what happens, and if you can see a repeating pattern, something that seems to be doing the same thing, then there's no reason why you can't, find some way of trading it. It's the news at 10 a.m. Yeah, it certainly is. 1500 on mine. You guys are 5 hours behind me. Well, Eastern Standard Time, so 20 minutes. Consumer confidence. I'm not sure what sort of impact this will have. Okay, there's a lower high there. Now, you've got to be so careful here because that could trap along there. I'm not sure what's going on here, whether we're ranging yet. It's a bit too early to take a trade like that for me. It is a second entry long. There is a lot of liquidity at 90, but there's some at 82. So you've got to be so careful here. Hopefully it won't finish bullish. Okay, that's fine. I mean, it does fit in there quite nice, but I prefer it to touch up here again, really, and work up a little bit. Hey, Jonathan, how you doing, mate? How you doing? AP. Is it part of the Fed's decision to continue with the rate hikes or keep the pause? Yeah. That could be a failed second entry long, depending on how that finishes. That's the trouble, really. I don't know. I mean, we've had 2 touches there, so it's hard to know whether we're in a channel or more of a range is more important. Now, that's clearly pushed up there, but whether it continues or not is hard to say. Better be patient. Yeah, absolutely. I usually get that's why. I mean, I used to come and trade the market before the official open, but the trouble is, it doesn't. It needs to give you a little bit of a pattern on what's going on. At the moment, we've had a push up, a push down, and a push up. Now, if we come working down in this, I'll be treating it's more important than to treat it as a range. But there is a possibility that could continue higher. It's just a little bit too early at the moment. You can class that as a second entry long. First entry, second entry. That's more your signal bar, but I suppose you could wait for that. It's the same light. But the trouble is, if you're thinking it's bouncing off here, it's bounced here 3 times, isn't it? And once here. So I'm a little bit on the fence as to, I think it's safe to say we're ranging at the moment. But if this continues up, then obviously that changes things. But I'm not sure what's going on at the moment, whether we're going to continue higher or bounce off. I mean, there's a lower high there, which is still holding. That actually is a second entry short. Second entry short, I'm just not a fan because it's a little bit congested and we're at the top of this. I don't know what's going on. But yeah, if there's your new low, first entry, second entry. It's a second entry short, that is. You could say it's a failure. It's tried 3 times. I'm just not sure because if this is a channel, then channels obviously move up. If it's a range, then we could bounce off. So there's a failed second entry long there and a second entry short there. So if you're going to trade it, I'd just trade it for a point, no more, because we're clearly working higher. So that's why I've left that. It's risky. I mean, it may come careering down, but personally, that's risky, that is. Now, let me have a look. You wouldn't have got a point out of that. Not yet. You may do. I mean, in certain circumstances, that'd be a nice trade. Failed to go higher 3 times and a second entry short. And it may come careering down, but at the moment, to me, this is working up in this area, so I'm just leaving it alone at the moment. Also, there could be 2 legs there. 1 leg, 2 legs. I would much prefer it to bounce off here again before I think about maybe we're going up. And that news is in 15 minutes. I caught that second entry long for a point. Oh, that one there. Yes, but that's all you'd have got out of it. See, you'd have got stopped out if you'd have gone for 2. That's what I mean. It's hard to know whether it's going to continue up. It's going to have 1 leg, 2 leg, and then continue up, or whether it's a range. And it's hard to say at the moment because this is only really the second time it's gone up. And yeah, it's bounced a few times. It might just be finding resistance. It may come down here, confirm this channel, and then push up higher. So things aren't very clear to me at the moment. Okay, so we've got a new high. If we re-zero it from there, possible second entry long. I prefer it to come down and touch this for a measured leg. But then do I want to go long into this again? I'm not so sure. I mean, we got that news fast approaching. And in all honesty, it could just continue to do this for the next 15 minutes, which looks like it may do. And if it does do that, you could end up getting stuck in that. Okay, touch, 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 touch. I can go up a fraction. Okay, touch, touch. Oh, look at that. Okay. So I'm guessing there was probably some stops a little bit below there. So that did work. It worked nicely. But because we're going up, you just don't know. So I'd say pushing up. There was some longs there. There was some longs there. Look at that. So you've got to be so careful. Obviously, I'd say by that push down, there was quite a few longs in there. Pushing up may have been some there. Certainly going to be some there. Second entry long, thinking it's going to come down, bounce off here and push higher. And it broke through those stops, which gave it a bit of fuel. So that's why I left that second entry long, and that's why I just stayed out of it. Now, if it pushes higher, then I'd say that's probably a channel then. If it continues down, I'd say range. Let's have a look. Let's get this out of the way for a time. Yeah, you got to be so careful you don't get trapped in some of these areas. I mean, it's fitting relatively nice in that, isn't it? And all of a sudden drop. Touch, touch, close of two bollies, and a touch and a touch. So it's fair to say there's some resistance there. So maybe it is a trend, a range. Let's see if we come down here some more. Yeah, see, that's the trouble when you get this area. I mentioned there was clearly a failure, which obviously worked. There's also a second entry long, and you know what's going to happen here, possible triple test. So there's a bunch of different scenarios there, so it's hard to get involved really without some extra risk, because it's a little bit unclear. We got this news pending. So if this is a channel, maybe we're going to try and push higher. It looks like we may be. Hey, Sania, how are you? How are you doing? $43.83. Bouncing off and coming down, or going up from? Yeah, remember, folks, we've got this news approaching in 10 minutes. So you looking at that, Sania, are you, when you mentioned that? We got a touch here, we got a touch here, we got a couple of touches here, touch here, touch here, touch here. You think we're going up? Yeah, from this. Okay, so there's a first entry. If we can get above here. Short, you're short under the EMA, are you? It looks to me like it's going up. Sally mentioned up as well. So I think it's going upwards. So I don't know whether you can get out or whether it's up to you. Obviously up to you, mate. Don't do anything based on what I say. Okay, so we've had this push down and a push up. If we can get above here for a failure. Possible second entry short. That's what I mean. It's hard to say at the moment. It's a bit unclear, but oh, you're not in a trade. Oh, good. Okay, so there's a possible second entry short there. I'm hoping that's going to trigger some shorts and then push up. I got you. It's all right. I noticed Sani just mentioned about going up. So it does look like we may be trying to make a new high off this, or at least retest this. So there's our first entry. Okay, I don't think it's going to give us a lower high, is it? Done. You mean going up to there? I got you. Well, there is a second entry short there. Trouble is that could trap some shorts, come down a tick, and that would give us a failed second entry. Ooh, is it going up or is it coming down? It's hard to say. That looks like it's ending in a doji anyway, so maybe it's going up some more. Wait, yeah. Yeah, it's nothing worse than being trapped in a trade. It starts going sideways. Let's put that there so I don't miss it. Wouldn't be the first time I've traded through the news. Yeah, looks to me like we are trying to make a new high after this. Try to sell near 43.88. Right, yeah, so you're about trying to make a new, yeah. Hopefully that news will be out the way soon. Yeah. So usually after a channel we have a break and a new high, but it's a little bit mixed. Are we in a channel? Are we ranging? I mean, we've gone up, we've come down, we've gone up. So if we come down here a little bit and bounce around here, then obviously we're going a bit sideways, but it's a bit too early. So there's a second entry short there. If that triggers, then that might be a nice failure to take long, but I'm so concerned about this news. It's frustrating when you get a decent setup at the news. I'm not saying it is, but try to go low once, try to go low twice. Possible failure. Also second entry short, so that's probably triggered some shorts. But obviously this news is in 5 minutes. Interesting. Channel, leg. So this is starting to look more and more like a range now. Done. Well done. Exponential Trader, good morning. Coming down to 70s. You may be right. Hey Chris, how are you, mate? How you doing, bud? Tech 111 7775, light in the sand for the shorts. Yeah, the smart traders are longing it up and shorting it down, and the rest of us are sat here scratching our heads. Yeah, so it's hard to know. Perhaps we've had this channel, leg and a leg. 2 attempts to go lower and higher still. It's hard to say at the moment. What's that one-click trade you have? That one there just enables me. See, I've got it set on limit, so if I hold the Alt button, I can just
order submitted.
I can just open and close trades without having to do the right click and
order
do it that
submitted.
way.
Order
so
canceled.
If I just hold the Alt button, I can click them there.
Order submitted. Order submitted.
And then just cancel them.
Order
or I can change it
canceled.
to a market order and do it that way.
Order
There's
canceled.
There's a bunch of bits of stuff. I haven't scratched the surface really, but you can sell above, sell below, bracket in, all sorts of stuff. I think it's $200. There is a link in the bottom. I think in the description. So if you're interested, but it's $200. That is. Just makes things a little bit quicker rather than doing it that way. Trouble is, if you do it that way, it's blocking your screen. Otherwise, you've got to do it over here. And the other day, by accident, I clicked a buy order instead of a sell order by accident. Fortunately, the market went up and made me a few £100 by accident. So, yeah. It's just called ATM one-click trade. There is a link in the descriptions on all my videos. If you are interested. Nice guy. He comes on the stream now and again. He's a nice guy. I don't get anything for it. He just let me use it for free. And I said I'll put it on, and if anybody mentions it, I'll tell him where the link is. So, but he's a nice chap. Mark, his name is Mark Whiting. He does come on the stream now and again. Okay, news, 5 seconds. So, make sure you stay out now, folks. You don't want to be in a trade now, just in case it goes wild. Does Apex pay you in dollars? Are you from the UK, are you, Tyler? Answer me that, mate. Yeah, they do. And I'll tell you way round it so it doesn't cost you anything if you are UK. Okay, so we've got this leg down, one leg tight. It does look like we're going higher to make these highs. There is strong liquidity at 97 up here, so it's a bit hard to say at the moment, but it does look like one leg down, a break. So it's hard to say. Yeah, I get paid in dollars, mate. It goes, let me know, in my system, it made sell target. For this, you need to take position, strong resistance. This may take time. No, you're US. Yeah, I get paid in dollars, and I just convert it. Yeah, it goes, I think they do pay in dollars, but I use, you probably heard of Revolut. I got a Revolut account, and if you have the gold card, I get exchange free currency exchange Monday to Friday. Doesn't cost me anything. So, but yeah, they do. Your EU, the way around it is just get a Revolut account. I pay £12.99 per month for a Revolut account, and I can have unlimited currency exchange Monday to Friday. So, and I think banks charge you about 3%, so $2,000. It's about £60 it costs me. So if I get paid $2,000, it costs me £60. Whereas if I get paid $2,000 a month, it costs me $12.99. Plus there's loads of other benefits. So these online banks that are getting more and more popular, like Monzo, Revolut, I can't think of something. There's a bunch of them. There's half a dozen or more of them. They're getting There is a lower high there. Try one attempt to go higher, another attempt to go higher. Trouble is, there's a lot of support around here. It's hard to say, that is. Try to go once, try twice. Oh, I'm going to stay out of that, I think. I think it is probably coming down. But yeah, you get a lot more benefits. 43.88 is resistance. Yeah. I was looking at this to come short, but it's just gone a bit. I'm not a fan of the bar. I mean, we've had this drop out. We tried to go higher twice. But I don't know. I'm a bit on the fence there. There's quite a bit of resistance, some support resistance right around that, just about a centimetre above that midline. So, but there's also a failure there. But no, I'm going to have to just sit tight, I think. Okay, so we can get rid of that now. Yeah, so if you got short there, you're about to get stopped out, I think. There you go. Yeah, it's a little bit rangy there, and if I'm going short right at the bottoms of this area, so interesting. What's going on? But yeah, and you get a nice posh gold-looking card, which is made of steel. As you can hear, made of steel. They're brilliant, actually. I've had one of these before. I had some cryptocurrency with crypto.com, and I had something called a ruby steel card, and I got 2% on all purchases. And they're great. They're just, you can use them to fill holes, you can use them to scrape the ice off your car, you can use them as a weapon to slash throats and stuff. They've got multiple uses. But yeah, I pay £12.99 a month, and it gives me unlimited currency. So even if you paid $2,000 a month, you've more than saved your money. You've it's paid for 4 or 5 months worth there. So a little bit of sideways, a little bit of congestion here. Not sure what's going up, whether we're pushing higher or whether we're coming back down. Where are you, EU, David, if you don't mind me asking? Okay, possible triple test. Not interested. Oh, you Netherlands, I got you. Okay. I got you. Yeah, it's a little bit up and down here. I'm not sure what's going on. So yeah, Sani mentioned this is resistance. There is some liquidity up there. So I don't know whether to short these, look for short in the tops or buy in the bottoms, because I'm not sure what the overall is. Are we going up? Are we coming down? I've got no idea. Certainly not interested in that. That's got trap written all over it. Yeah, it is, mate. Yeah. I wouldn't know whether to take the bottoms or the tops. I mean, you could say that's a second entry long if it drops out here and pushes up. It's hard to say. I mean, it's gone up and down, hasn't it? From here, up, down, up, down, up, down. Trouble is, I'm not interested in taking, you know, that one. Looked to me like a trap. It's triggered up. I think that'll come down and take that stop out. Yeah, it has done. It's got trap written all over it. I'll prefer to push down here and then have strong rejection. Now, if you're gonna go for a long trade in this, where better to go than to pick these bottoms? You know what I mean? So that's a second entry long. That might be okay, but I'm not a fan of this. I'm just not a fan. It might work, it might rock it up. But I like the ones that push below and pick up a load of buy orders and have a quick spike, which tells me there's probably quite a few buyers in that. So, see what I mean? You just don't know what's going on there. Looking for a short, but yeah, it's hard to know, see. I mean, we've tried to come down a bunch of times, haven't we? Obviously now we seem to be dropping, but I much prefer to get down to these lows. So you could fade that, couldn't you? But same again, not interested because I don't know what the overall is, whether it's more bullish or bearish, or whether it's just plain and simple sideways. I mean, there is a chunk of liquidity between 1772, which is this area here. So there's certainly a shot this is going to come down. And there's a failure there, but trouble is you don't know whether it's going to come down here and then push up again. It's just too risky. 4385. You think that's where we're going, do you? 4385. Unfortunately, there's just... I'm assuming you're on about going long up to 4385, are you? Which is up here. 4385, which is the tops. Trouble is, it's hard to say. It looks like it's cut. Yeah, so if you took that, you got shafted. This looks to me like we're having a spell downwards. There's a channel there, see? That's fitting quite nice. Let's get rid of that a minute. Yes, yeah. Trouble is, are we long from 4385? Are you on about long into it or short from it? Or are you short from there? Okay, short from there, that would make sense, wouldn't it? Yeah. 70s incoming, yeah. There is a chunk of liquidity, as I mentioned here. Around about 71 to 72. There's about 500, nearly 600 orders down there. So I think there's a fair chance that the overnight lows are going to be hit. Fortunately, we're that far from the bloody EMA. I mean, if we can get a break here, maybe 2 pushes up, then leg down, maybe to here, another leg down, which would take us to there. That would be beautiful. Okay, touch. I'm happy that that's a channel. Now, if we can get 2 legs up to here, maybe retest this bottom and here, then shorts have been played now. Yeah, so if we can get up here, I'm thinking about going short further down a bit and retesting these bottoms, but that's just way too far away. It will go to 4385. What, before it hits the bottom? Back up to here. See, that we're quite a way out of this, aren't we? Does it mean it's going to go there now, or is it going to come here first? See, there's a lot of liquidity here, so I'd say it's more likely, because at the moment we're still in this channel, it's more likely going to come down here first and then push up. So maybe we go long if we can bounce off the bottom and give us something. look that close to these lows. I'll be surprised if we don't. Very strong 70 to 72, so I'd like to put into this area if we can. Yeah. I mean, it's still in this channel. Now at support. You're saying here support, are you? This area here. Be nice to have a break in a new low. So what you classing as support? Where we officially opened last night? Or are you on about just this area in general? My swing target is around the 50s, is it? Yeah. I mean, ideally, it'd be nice to just creep into there if we can, and then give us a setup to go long. But this might be a break, so we may have a break and a new low, which I guess. Yeah, but see, Sani mentioned support there, and it's clearly struggling to go lower there, isn't it? So maybe we come back a bit and have a run up. 4375, 4375, around about here, yeah. Okay, yeah. It does look like a bottoming pattern, doesn't it? Well, look at that. In fact, if this gives us a short, it may trap some shorts, in which case I might go long above it. See what happens. So if we're on about getting up to these areas here, I'm just wondering if there's a bigger trend channel there. Touch, touch, touch. That's possible, isn't it? God, that. I don't know. I don't know. Look at that. That's a higher low, isn't it? I'm going to
Order
take that
submitted.
as a higher low. Just go for a couple of points. I mean, 1525, 35, 425. Just going to go for a couple of points off the higher low. 1.5, 2.5, 3.5. Just go for a couple of points. See, there's probably going to be some shorts there. Thinking we're coming down to the bottom, maybes. So I'm going to put that up a little bit more. 1.5, 2.5, 3.5, 4.5. I'm going to put it up there and then just follow up with me stop. Gone for the higher low. Strong push up there. Come back, higher low. There's going to be some short stops there, I'd say. If we can get above there, I'm out before that support there, so I'm just going to follow it up. That's actually a failure as well. Come on, get up, you bugger. Patience, come on. Two more ticks. Pushes above there, it'll sort that out. So, come on, come on, come on, come on. I've got to be patient, patient, patient. Come on. There's one tick off there. Pushes above there, seal it, my thingy. Go on. Go on, 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 go on. I think I've shit out here. Come on. Patience is the key. Go on, get up there. Come on, baby. Let's get out for 200. It's probably going to smash through it, but it's just risky in my opinion.
Order filled.
There we go. Okay. Let's see if it pushes above it. It's probably going to, yeah, it would have done. Okay, that's fine. I got out for 225. Okay, so that's fine. 225 is better than it coming back and getting me, but it did hit the target. So that's okay. So there's a massive liquidity up here. So yeah, sometimes it's a bit of patience. Yeah, I could have done with some words of wisdom from you there, Sally. I was so unsure what to do, but sometimes, you know, the thing is, I suppose what it's doing, it's creating a little bit of support there, isn't it? But maybe some shorts initially there. Sorry, here it came down and stopped them out. So I think if it got above there, it was going to done. Yeah, you said 8.5, which is here. If I'd have waited, I got an extra 3/4 of a point, but that's fine. I'm okay with that. I can live with that. That's perfectly fine. Took some heat there. Yeah, I did, mate. Yeah, it's not fun, that, is it, when it starts to go sideways. The trouble is, if I'm honest with myself, I would say maybe 4 out of 5 trades that I and ah about win. Now, I remember once, a while back, and I was writing down these, I think I had something like 22 winning trades in a row. Going back about maybe a year, 22 in a row. Now, they all went for 2 points. Now, I think I wrote down 5 or 6 of them started going a bit sideways, and I ended up getting out of the trade, but they still went on to win 2 points. So I think it's still financially viable for me to leave things alone, but trouble is a little bit sideways, but it's still above the EMA, so there we go. We do have a bullish imbalance, yeah. Yeah, we do. But I've got to say, it's not fun when it starts to go like that. I'm hoping in time that starts to disappear. Now, if I'd had these four PA accounts and I've had $10,000 in each, you're not going to worry about losing $200, are you? But with only having a drawdown of $2,500, it's like losing $200 when you've only got $2,500. So regardless of whether these evaluations say it's a $50,000, it's not. What it is, it's a $2,500 account, because if you lose that, the account's gone. So I'm trading 2 contracts based on 2,500. So I'm literally risking, what, 10%, 10, 12%? And that normally, in the grand scheme of things, is a big risk. When I learned to do currency, I was told somewhere around 1 to 3%. And usually, the bigger institutional guys risk 1%, in some cases 0.5%. I know my mentor risked between 0.5% and 1%, but obviously we're risking a lot more to try and build these accounts. That's why there's a lot more nerves in our trading. So as our accounts grow, and less chance of blowing them, and our confidence, it's like anything, with skill comes confidence. The better you get, the better you get at it, the more confidence, the more belief you have, and a losing trade isn't going to affect you. But we're all frightened of a losing trade because most of us are still relatively new. And when I say new, I mean within, under those first 3 years. And it can be a bit daunting and a bit scary, but that's all part of it. Well, I could feel myself there. Okay, so we had a strong push up. We came down, pushed a tiny bit through the end, pushed up nice and strong. Now, I know there's some strong liquidity up here, and Sania mentioned support here, so I think that one was about the only entry I could see there. I didn't want to take that, but the way it just literally sliced straight through the EMA, a little bit of sideways, pushed up, came right the way back down, and then pushed up nice and strong, and then there was a failure there, and obviously the rest is history. But I could have got me $300, but anything above $200 in a trade I'm happy with. I've got 4 accounts, so taking out of fees, that's just give me $850 on one trade, so I'm happy with that. Yeah, exactly. I don't know why they call it a $50,000 account. It's not. You have $2,500, that's it. Yeah, it does make sense. It just, they make it sound a little bit more glamorous than it is, but it's not, is it? So that's a high low. What am I doing here? High low. Actually, it's a lower high, so no, it's a high low. High low. High low. Plus 2.25 points. So I'm not a slow typist. I've got a great big microphone right in front of my face, so. Okay, so clearly looking like a range, isn't it? No argument there. So if you get a good entry, you can risk more than what? If you get a good entry, you can risk more than what 2,500 will get you in contracts. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. I've messed around with 2 contracts and 1 contract. The trouble is with 1 contract is, yeah, you've got more to, you know, you can lose a lot more, but it takes so much longer to build an account. I like to, now, as far as I'm concerned, I can afford to lose 8 or 9 trades in a row trading 2 contracts. Now, I've never done that. And if you are losing 8 or 9 in a row, you're clearly not ready to trade yet. So that's the way I see it. As long as I sit and wait for good setups, then there's no reason why I shouldn't trade 2 contracts. And like I say, you do sort of, what do I get? 2 to 3 points. So let's say on average, I get $250. 10 trades over maybe a couple of weeks would get me to the area where I start to drift away from the stop. So, you know, got 5 points today. Good for you, Wood. One on my own. Yeah. I forgot you can trade your own. I will at some point. See, I'm 54 just. Next year, I can get access to some of my private pension, and I've got about 70,000 in there. So I could take £10,000, you know, 15,000 or even £20,000, which is about $25,000, and trade some of that potentially. So that's a possibility. I'm guessing in another year, I'm going to be another year more experienced. And what I am experiencing day by day is every time I lose something and something new happens, I'm learning, and I'm sort of fine-tuning that active brain. And I can find myself learning things all the time. And if I learn something where I make a mistake, I'm a little bit careful next time round, and all that sort of, you know, it's like bouncing from side to side. You know, probably not the best analogy, but you know, is it they call the luge or something like that, or the format, the bobsleigh or whatever? You know, it's almost like we're sort of riding down there and bouncing off every side, but after a while you start to get better at it, and you know, that bouncing stops and you get that nice, hopefully, that nice fluid movement. I'm finding if I get an entry really close to a stop, I really add a lot more size than you expect. Keep it decent. Yeah, there's so many different ways. Now, if you look at the, and I'm pretty sure I'm right here, if you look at the Trader Joe guy, he trades with a 25,000. Well, it's an evaluation anyway. I saw him trading on evaluation. He trades a $25,000 one, and he trades 3 contracts. So I think, you know, 3 is too much for a $50,000. But if you've got the patience and your chart reading is good, there's no reason why you can't. You know, so it's a personal thing, isn't it? Okay, so we've got a leg down here. I don't know what's happening anyway, but it's clearly I don't want to be going long up here. So, You know, it's a personal thing, isn't it? We all decide what do we want to do. And I know guys with $50,000 account on some of the Facebook groups that still trade micros. You know, trade 2 micros. So if a 2-point winning trade will give you $10, but then the fees are high, so you get about $8.50. Now, imagine trying to build an account, $8.50. Making $8.50 on a winning trade. It would take you a couple of years. Excuse me just a second. No, it's okay. Okay, there is a second entry long here. I'm going to leave this because I'm unsure about this. We'll come into this area where it could... that may turn into a trap. I don't know whether it's going to, but clearly not. There you go. But we're getting close to the top here, so I'm just a bit... 4380. 4380 here. No, I don't get that. $8.50 on a win. Let's say you're averaging 5 trades a week. What's that? That's $40 a week. 10 weeks, $400. It'd take you over a year just to get to your... just to get to 2,000. No, that doesn't work for me. You know, if you're learning, then fine. But if you've been doing it a couple of years, over a couple of years, then I think you need to be, if you want a bit of real life experience, then maybe that's the way. Okay, so now we're at this top. So let's have a look. 390. There's some strong liquidity at 390. So that might be a way down, but it doesn't look terrible. But I'm just not a fan of those. And I did read that. Someone put me onto that blog by, is it Vlad, on the group, and apparently he doesn't pick tops. He takes second entries and failures. That's it. Nothing else. Sometimes I will take these, but and in the grand scheme of things, it doesn't look too bad, and that would have made you a couple of points, but I'm just not a fan of them. Second entry long, yes. There's a lot of liquidity around here, and like Sania says, this is support, so it could trigger you and then come down. So I'm just a bit unsure about that. And not only that, it is a second entry, but it's a little bit congested and a little bit sideways there, but it worked. So I don't know, maybe to someone else. That's the trouble. There's a grey area in trading. What might look like a good trade to one person might not to another. Now, what I will say is when I'm up a trade, my thought process goes extra strict. So that's probably why I left. Maybe if I hadn't taken a trade, then I may have taken that. It's hard to say, but when you start to, whereas I used to be in a bit careless mode, I go into cautious mode. So I'm noticing my personality and my patience changing and developing over the months. And there'd have been, I'd have jumped all over that not so long ago, but now I'm a little bit extra cautious. If there's anything that just a little bit of congestion close to the tops, possible support, it just makes me go a little bit careful, it's a better option than the latter. So there's a massive liquidity from 43.86 to 89. So from here to here, there's a big lump of it. 86, so around about here. Up as high as 90. So that's the thing, when you've got this big liquidity, it just makes me think twice about going short. Now, if you did take that, I think you got 2 points out of it. Let's have a look. Ooh, I don't think you would have done. Yeah, see, 2 points is at the bottom, so you'd have had to tick past there. So That wouldn't. I did look at that, but just see me mentioning, I'm a bit wary of those, so I tend to leave them, and that's why. Because this to me looks, it's got it. It looks like it's going up. It might not. It might hold, but we've had 2 legs back and 1 leg up, another leg up. Mass of liquidity up here. So if I was in that trade now, my arse would be. Well, I need a fresh change of underwear. Put it that way. So there's going to be stops there for sure. Hopefully it'll hold if you're in that. But the liquidity around here is big. There's over like 1,000 orders between there and there to go to go short or to come out profits or whatever. So I'll be surprised if we don't push above here. Maybe another second entry long. Uh, 6.75. So there. Let's have a look. Yeah, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Yeah, there's about 1,300 orders there. So if it does break above there, there'll be lots of people taking profits. So that might not be a terrible second entry long. I'm not taking it. There's 2 funny looking. I'm just not a fan of this. But I'd say, from what I can see, it's likely to go up. But, you know, I've only been using this. Normally, if I didn't have that book map, there's no way I'd be thinking about going long close to that support areas. But based on what I can see here, it may go up, but you may get trapped. So I wouldn't be thinking of taking that. So where's 2 points? Yeah, see, once you're in that area here, you don't know whether it's going to go to the top and pick every order up or what. It's hard to say, but if it gets above here, you'll hit your 2 points straight away. Because there's probably going to be some shorts there after seeing that one, and that one. There'll be some shorts there. So if it gets above here, you'll hit that pretty quickly. Trouble is, it could get some longs. There's some longs in there. There's probably some longs in there. There's probably some longs in there. So it could flush down and take out all those out. But that's what I mean. It could be a trap. You've definitely got longs there. That's the trouble going along right up to these supports. But if it does manage to get through them, especially that one, you'll hit that in quick time. In fact, $88, 6, 7, 8. Yeah, it's about 900 orders there. Up as far as 90. I'll be shocked if it doesn't go up. See, second entry long there. As soon as that breaks above there, then I'll hit that 2 points straight away. And it may even go there, but I doubt there's going to be many shorts there. The only shorts there that have triggered is that one there. Ooh. Now, if this triggers below, it'll either come down or it might push up. But I think it's looking like it's going to come down. If it gets below there, then it may, like I say, it may have this quick flush down. I don't know, but it might go up. So odd. But we've hit this high and we've tried now quite a few times to go higher. So it's struggling to get through there. So maybe if it comes down, it might encourage some more buyers. But I don't think it's going to. That wouldn't encourage me, that bar there. Yeah, so if you took that second entry long there, you got stopped out. To be fair, it's just got risk written all over it with those two there, that close to the tops. The trouble is that's really building up some resistance there. It's not giving up yet. Okay, that's triggered. So let's see if this comes down and takes out that stop. That's still intact, so that's a good thing. Okay, looks like it's going to have another go. Same again. 86.75 and 90. There's over 1,000 orders, sell orders there. So whether that's profits from here, or whether people are going to go, if it breaks above there, I'm going short. So I don't know whether there's anywhere to know whether they're take profits or whether they're pending sell orders. I'm not sure. I don't know whether you can tell on this. I don't think it tells you, does it? Okay, it does look like it's trying to go higher. I suppose you could class that as a second entry long, but it's just a bit congested. Took that failed break out of that congestion. There. Yeah, it's hard to know. I just wouldn't like to go long into that. I've done this before. I've got that focused on pushing up. It's clearly trying to push higher. And I've got that focused, and I've got in anything that looks like a trade. I've got in, and it's ended up backfiring on me. So I tend to stay out of them now when it's, especially when it does this really slow stuff. Because sometimes you'll find it'll do this right, and then it'll start spiking. It might have a quick spike up or down. And I've been in a trade like that before, and I've had a 2-point stop, and it's took me out for 3.5 points. So, yeah, you can say that's a second entry long, but it's just going very slow. So you just don't know. It's just a bit risky. I mean, it's clearly trying to push higher, but sometimes then that can just encourage people thinking, oh, it's pushing higher. Our second entry long, I'll go long. It's pushing higher, and sometimes it can just drop and because look what happened when we were up here before. We ended up coming down then. Leg. And then another leg. So it's just, I don't know. I wouldn't like to be in that trade. See, it might give you a higher low. That might encourage more longs. Ooh, I mean, that is looking very bullish, but it could be a trap. It's a spike in channel. Up, break, and new high. So now looking for shorts. Yeah, I ain't looking for nothing at the moment. There is a lot of liquidity up here. So if it gets above there, then I can see it picking up the majority of this. There's going to be some shorts there. Whether the shorts will be above there, maybe. But it is trying to push higher. We've had that big strong bar there, so it's just that might encourage a few more buyers. But it's coming back and it's pushing again. So once it gets above these, which it is now, that's next, and that's probably where the stops are going to be. So see what happens, or it could just bounce back, and it's hard to say. But there is still a massive orders right up into just under there, 7.5. So I don't think we're finished yet. Let's have a look. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. There's 1,700 orders around here. So if we do manage to push here, I can see a quick drop, and then maybe it's down then. Okay, so we've certainly broken those anyway, but I think that's key, and that one there. If we can get above there, it'll almost definitely push through there, and that might give us that drop then. Okay, we're on there now. That's ticked above it. A few more ticks off there, and I think they'll have a quick push there. Yeah, it's got to get above there, and then I think it'll push straight the rest of these. Yeah, there you go. So that's taken all that liquidity out now. Let's have a look. It's going. Yeah, okay. So, now where are we going? So this may be a way down now. I felt that. Okay, so all that liquidity is gone now. There is some at 95 up here, so I'd say this is probably going to get us close to the CMA, but I'm just not getting involved in anything like this. $95.75, which is about there. So, is that measured leg played out yet? Not quite. Okay. See if we got anything from Mac. Yes. Except not. Yeah. The only difference is he hasn't got that. I actually like that, to be fair, but it actually fits really nice. It doesn't matter anyway, it's by the by now, but that's the same. That's the same. That's the same. All he's got is this. Yeah. Excellent. Okay, folks, I'm just going to take a quick few minutes break, and I'm going to make a quick cup of tea. It's a little bit unsure what to do here. I mean, there may be a second entry long there, but it's a bit choppy and congested, and I don't really want to be taking trades when I've started up nice. This is $850 there. I don't want to be chucking that away on something that's a bit congested. So 5 minutes. Quick cup of tea, recharge the batteries. I will be back. There we go. Oh, sorry about that. Okay, what did I miss? Not a lot. Okay, so. Let's have a look. Okay, so. Okay, so this looks like a channel. Touch, close enough. Touch, touch, touch to the tops. Are we going to push higher? Let me have a look. Okay, so not sure. Some liquidity down here, so we may. I don't know what's going on here. Whether we're going to push up for a new high, I'm not convinced we are. Quite a couple of big orders around about there. And some buy orders down here, so. Yeah, so regardless, even if you have this channel, it just came down. So I doubt it's going to, it may even trap some longs there. Let's have a look. Interesting. Possible second entry short. It's hard to know what's going on here, whether we're going to continue higher. See, a lot of cases you'd make a new high after this, but this just, it's struggling here, and we've had a couple of pushes up and we've pushed in strongly, which tells me it's more of a range. So whether it is going to go higher, I'd say it's more likely not to. But there is some big sell orders around the 80. 88, which is here. So if it does manage to get up there, I think it'll turn there. It's tough range or break. Europe, yeah. I think it's less likely to go up because it's clearly ranging, really, with the exception of that. Call that a failed breakout. I think it's more fair to, isn't it? Because we've pushed back in strongly. Most of the liquidity is here and below. Yeah, there's some stops there. So I can see this coming down. Probably some there. Well, where I went. Oh no, I went there, didn't I? That would take us to just above the midline. Not interested for me. Leg. It could be leg down and push higher. I don't think it is, though. There's a big lump of orders at 85, which is here, which would tell me if it gets to here, it's probably... let me see if I can adjust that to keep that fit in. Let's have a look. It didn't pick up those orders at 85. Okay, so that confirms the downtrend. Now it's triggered, so whether it does continue down or not, it's hard to say. Oh, I'm just not convinced. See what happens. I think that's dangerous because there's a lump of liquidity here. 85.25, which is just above there. Yeah, see, the problem is with this channel here, we could have two legs down and then push up, make a new high. Are we? Will we? I don't think so, but I'm not prepared to bet on it. So, okay, so that's clip that liquidity there. So if we push up and end up bearish, you could say a second entry short. I don't know. I'm just not sure what's going on. It's very choppy. So that liquidity has been taken. So let's have a look. If this does finish bearish, don't take a trade based on my channel. It might not be right, that I don't know. It might just be a couple of legs. I've just put it there just out of interest. You passed the 300k today. Excellent. The only thing that puts me off those, you've got to make $20,000. Now, great with a PA because obviously you can trade a lot more contracts. But how long does it take to make $20,000 of profit? It's quite a lot, isn't it? So I'm going to get rid of that for the time being. And that. So, break, one leg down, two legs down. Could call that high low. 4380 complete. Yeah, Jonathan, it's quite a chunk, isn't it? $20,000 you've got to make. That's the kind of thing I like about this. All I've got to make is $3,000. At least I've got to know I've got half a chance. Yeah, it does, doesn't it? What's the fee for it, for the PA? The one-time fee. I know it's $140 on the 50,000. I'm not sure what it is for the 300,000. It'll take a few more days, even though I just such a good entry this morning. Yeah. The good thing is, I think you've got a $7,500 drawdown now, so that does give you a little bit of freedom, doesn't it? I mean, you could trade 4 contracts quite comfortably, and with one of them as a runner as well. You've got that option. Trouble is, we're doing it this way on a PA account, only trading 2 contracts. You can't really have a runner because you'd be using 50%. Whereas you could trade 4 contracts, couldn't you? I've only got a $2,500 trading 2 contracts. You've got a $7,500. Theoretically, if you could you know, to match me like for like, you could trade 8 contracts. Sorry, 6 contracts. So you could certainly do maybe 4 and trade one of them. May come down to retest 43.80 down here. Yeah. I'm not sure what's going on here, whether we're going to break these highs or what. Ryan, $600. No, it's not that much, is it? To pay the fee for the one-off fee. I can't see it that much, is it? No, it wouldn't be that much. Surely not. God, if you had 20 accounts, that'd be $12,000 now. You must be thinking of someone else. Okay, looks like we're pushing up to these new highs. May get this measured moving. Okay, that's going to push through there. Okay, new high of the day. GF, just wondered. Oh, I just widened my channel. If it's the same as your uptrend, that being your midline. So you went like that, didn't you? Yeah. Yeah. I did think of that. I'm not so sure at the moment. I don't think it really matters too much because we've had a break of this and we've made a new high. So I would say it's probably lightly. You could say that, but I'm going to look upon this as we've had a break. So we've had a break, 1-2 legs down, and we're pushing up, making a new high. So if you draw that bigger channel, you might be inclined when it comes down to go long again, when I think sometimes you're better off, or I tend to get err on the side of caution to say we've had this channel, we've had a break, and we've made a new high. So I'm thinking about shorts now. Now, there is like a bit of a bullish bias at the moment, but it doesn't necessarily mean it's going to continue up. So it's a bit hard to say at the moment. It's that how price action works. However, yeah, because of all this, trying to get higher. But that measured leg is, well, I can come down a fraction. That's a tick off, basically. In fact, that can come down. Bollocks, get away. Yeah, look right to the nearest tick. Look at that. Yeah, if anybody ever thinks these are random. The thing is, I mean, the trouble is, see with this there, we got this channel, we've had a break, and we didn't make a new high until here. So in a range day, there's no guarantees it's going to do that, which is why I stayed out of this, because I'm unsure whether it's coming down or whether it's indeed going up and making this new high. In an uptrend, general uptrend, it will do that. But obviously, at the moment, I'm thinking the day is more along the lines of a range. But obviously, ranges can change. It might now continue to go up, and it may have this bigger channel, but it's just hard to say, really. I think sometimes if you do that, see, if you come down there, I've done it myself, yeah. Now, if you get a second entry down to here, you might be thinking, oh yeah, let's go long again. When if you keep it like that and err on the side of caution, so let's just assume we've had this break and a new high, so that's played out, so it could come down now. And if you're thinking, I've done this myself, and it's had a second entry down to here, I've gone long, it's triggered me and come down, and then later on I've realised what's on. So I always try and err on the side of caution. You tend to get more and more cautious the more trades you lose. The more, sorry about the barking, tend to get more and more cautious. So I tend to assume it's had a break. That way it stops me from, I mean, it may be a bigger channel, but until it either goes up some more or comes down and bounces and goes up a bit higher, then I'm just going to sort of, let's assume, stay on the safe side. Makes you into a fearful trader. It just, and I've found, and I know from losing trades in the past and getting trapped, that I always try and assume that it's break. If it's possible that it's had a break, I always assume it's had a break. That way, it stops me getting trapped on the wrong side of the market, and that's just out of experience of getting trapped. The more times you get trapped, the more you allow for it to happen. Because let's see what happens here. So if we get a second entry down and you've got a wider channel, you might be thinking going long, and it might be the case, but it could trap you. So I'd rather give it a chance to come down and then move up even higher, in which case then I may extend that. But the more you cock up, the more you cover all the eventualities. Sometimes, though, in fact, I think it's part of the process. It takes you from one extreme to the other, where you're taking risky trades and then you end up not being frightened to pull the trigger, but seeing caution in every trade, you know what I mean? Seeing the possible downsides in everything. And obviously you've got to make an educated, you know, a sort of an educated decision based on your experience of, you know, what to do. So I seem to come full circle. I've gone from taking risky trades and trying to squeeze trades to missing out on some because I'm being a little bit not scared, because it doesn't frighten me, although it makes me nervous, but it's not going to stop me, you know, pulling the trigger, but it just makes me a little bit overcautious, and I think it's all part of it. And then eventually when you've come from one extreme to the other, I think then you probably maybe find some balance, and I think ultimately that's what you've got to look for when you're trading, some balance. You know, some trades, you know, like Julian Mack says sometimes, that if there's nothing, sometimes you may want to take something a little bit higher risk. It's a personal thing. So, you know. Yeah, I think fearful traders, I think you blow me up a bit there, mate. Yeah, you don't see my knees when I'm in a trade, they shake. Yeah, see, I didn't expect that. Okay, so now I think it's fair to say we seem to be moving out of this. Let's see what happens when we get this. So I'm just wondering now whether there may be something bigger cooking. No, I don't like them when they're too wide like that. That sort of width is not so bad, but it's a bit early, I think. Yeah, I'm not convinced about that. Not yet, anyway. I didn't expect that to be that strong. So, I did say there was some around about the 97, some liquidity. In fact, there's some up just under the 4400, which is there, just under. So, always expecting the unexpected, absolutely. It's a good thing to have, I think. But it is, the more I trade, the more sort of experience I get. It is really, our guy said this, I mentioned a few times, sent me that message maybe a few months ago. It's like a forging process. It's forging that brain, you know, with all the little things that happen, the losses, the wins, you know, missing stuff. It's like a forging process, which eventually at some point turns you into a competent trader. At some point, I definitely feel like I'm getting closer. I feel like I have 2 steps forward and then 1 step back, but I've noticed a bit of a breakthrough over the last 3 weeks. I haven't done any stupid revenge trading at all, and that's the first time I can say I've had that. I've thought about it, I've felt the urge to come back and do it, but I haven't, because I've just finally told myself that it just does not work. That, you know, that urge you have to get your money back. So if you're down in a day, say $300 or $400, you get that urge to get it back. If you're up, you get that urge to get more. And it's almost like that gambling, you know, that sort of gambling feeling, really. It is to a degree. It's the same thing gamblers have. They lose money, they want it back. It's sort of all interlinked, but it's having that strength of mind to go, I've been told this a million times, I can't do it, I have to. If I finish the day and I'm down, I have to accept it. I can't go back and go, I'm not happy that I'm down, I want my money back. It just doesn't work that way, you know. And greed, it will happen, you'll win from time to time, but overall I would say, based on my experience, 80% of the time you'll end up blowing your account, and I've done it so many times. And sooner or later you just get that fed up with just feeling lousy and crappy, and at some point then, have a great day. I can't watch this chop anymore. Take it easy, mate. Yeah, I just put, I just can't do it any longer. I can't feel this crappy any longer. And I think something changes, and then you start to get that, and maybe now I feel like I'm getting some control of my emotions. And I think it's all part of the journey, it's part of the trip. You know, you're not going to continue to do the same thing. You may be stubborn. I'm quite stubborn, and it may take me longer than most. But I believe if you keep that desire to do it and to make it and to be successful at it, then I think at some point it's inevitable you will. And it has such a high percentage failure rate. And, you know, after trading now for 2.5 years, I've got no doubt it's down to people giving up, not just not being able to do it. They give up. They realise how hard it is, that it's near damn impossible. That's what it feels like. You end up losing a chunk of money, you know, spend a lot of your time, and they just think, sod this, and they ditch it. And I think that's why they have such a high failure rate. Not that they can't do it or they're not capable of doing it, purely because they give up. I'm feeling all too well, blew up 3p accounts. Yeah, it's a horrible feeling. Makes you feel sick after. You can't believe you've done it again. Oh, I used to go away, sit on the bed with my hands in my head and think, what am I doing? And then at some point, I think it takes time to be able to learn to get control of those emotions, because those emotions, they're powerful. And you get this sort of auto switch off mode where, you know, it's almost like when you get into a fight as a young lad or something, and you just switch off. You don't think about what you're doing. You don't think about, you know, keeping your hands up or whatever. You just go into autopilot mode. Panic sets in. You just start swinging like a crazy man, and to hell with the consequences. And I think that's pretty much what goes on with trading. That's the way I can describe it anyway. And at some point, you start to gain some control, and I think that's when you can progress forward a bit. And I feel like I'm pretty close. You know, I still have my moments of weakness where I take something that I probably shouldn't have done, but they're getting less and less, so that's good. I'm trying not to aim for perfection, because I don't believe in perfection. If you go for perfection, I think you're going to set yourself up for fail. You've got to you know, realise that you're a human being, and you are still going to do something silly from time to time. But it's keeping it to a minimum. It's getting on top of it and keeping some control. And I think, you know, I mean, I read some guy on one of the Apex Facebook groups said they've blown their 30th PA account or something, and then someone harped up and said, what's his name? Daryl from that owns Apex blew way more than that when he was trading with Lilu years ago. So Daryl, who's a successful trader, very good at it, so I'm led to believe, makes a lot of money, not only from, you know, he still trades himself, but, you know, someone that caliber of experienced trader has still spent a lot of time chucking money away and blowing accounts. So, you know, so I don't know what's going on here. We're getting a little bit, probably get that out of the way now. So, I just don't know what's going on here now. Clearly made a new high, but it just keeps seeming to push higher and higher. It's better to reset than just start all over and buy a new account. Well, that depends, because if you reset an account now, it costs you $80. If I take another account, it costs me $17 currently. So I think you're best off, because not only that, if you've traded for a week and you blow your account and you reset, you've only got 3 weeks before you pay again. So reset fee is $80. At the moment, it's 90% off, so it's $17. But most of the time, apart from that, it's 80% off, which is only $33. So yeah, don't reset. If you've blown an account, get a new one. You can get about 4 or 5 accounts at the moment with 90% off. Yeah, don't get a reset. Especially now, most of the time we're getting at least 80% off. You can get two of those and have some change left in your pocket. Yeah, I didn't see that. I expected it to be slightly, maybe come down a bit and then work higher, but I didn't see that. That move, we've gone 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 15 points straight up nearly. Unless it's one of the big accounts. Yeah, I'm not sure how that works. I've never done anything more than $150,000. Love your mindset. Is that a compliment or not? Yeah, trouble is, learning to trade is expensive. You're going to chuck away a lot of money, and it feels heartbreaking, when you're blowing accounts. But at least now they're bringing the price down a bit. You've got half a chance then, not to throw away as much. I'm going to make a video. When I break even, I'm going to make a video on exactly what learning to trades cost me, and I'm going to absolutely cover everything from the desk to, the wires to the monitors to everything I've paid. And it'd be interesting to look back and work out exactly everything. Everyone should have that type of mindset. That's the only way you can be profitable. Yeah, it's hard. It is hard. It does take time. But, the only way you win in this game is to follow the rules. Nothing more complicated than that. But obviously with the emotions involved in it, it's easier said than done. Yeah, I wasn't expecting that big move. See, what I don't understand is what makes traders continue to buy when we get above these highs. Why would people just continue to buy? You know what I mean? I want something to buy off of, I suppose, unless they're just taking the profits and that. They're stretching their take profit level up. I mean, why would we go up to here all of a sudden? Got yesterday's. Got yesterday's high there, so that might be an area. Tally up the tears. Yeah. I've got very, very close to crying. Very close. I've welled up. I've had tears in my eyes literally when I've blown another PA account. It is a horrible feeling, and I've got to say, since I've stopped revenge trading, I enjoy trading much more now. But it just seemed like a battle that I was losing control of. The probs have pensioned the S&P 500. I've got some of mine in there, actually. Not a lot. There's a lot of liquidity up here. And another thing, how many of you, or how many of you wives or husbands or partners know exactly how much you've spent on trading? Can anybody say they're open and honest with their partners and they've told them exactly how much they've lost? Yeah, you do try and keep it, don't you? Keep it from people. I figure I'm going to tell my wife when I break even. At least that way I've got it all back. But the way I see it, if you break even, you've got all your money back. As far as I'm concerned, you've made it as a trader, because if you've managed to make all that money back, you're doing something right, which is a good thing. So that's when I will come to the conclusion that I've made it as a trader. I ain't telling anybody. I don't blame you. I wouldn't tell my mates. I think they think I've gone mental. What are you doing? I've even got a couple of friends who think trading is just purely gambling for posh people. Uh, but obviously we have way more of an edge. But yeah, I've got a rough idea, but when I get close to it, I think maybe another $6,000, another 3 payments. Then I'm going to sit down and tally it all up, and I won't be far off then. And then I'll tell my wife, then I'll tell her I've lost this. And then when she sort of comes out of her coma, I'll tell her that I've got it all back. I've not told her. She's supportive right now. She is supportive right now. That may change later. Yeah, I got to say, my wife's really supportive. It surprised me because I've tried all sorts of different schemes over the years, and I think she's probably seen me try and fail at lots of things. But I'm a trier. I'll never give up. I continue to keep pushing and trying. So, and I think she's realised that but she's been really supportive. I have said to her, just testing the waters, I'm thinking about giving up just to see what her reaction is. And then she says, don't you dare. I think she's planning on me making a ruck of money so she can have a better life. But yeah. When we say I will not make this mistake again. Yeah. I've said that so many times, Sam. Because what happens when you calm down and you come out of that sort of zone, that way you sort of black out, then you start to think clearly, and your clear conscious mind tells you we shouldn't be doing it and it's never going to work. And then when you get into this cycle of panic, that goes out the window. I forget this lady that I used to watch. Credus is a performance coach. Dissociation, she calls it dissociation, something like that. That we just switch off. Like when you're into a fight, basically, you get into a punch-up when you're a young lad. You don't think really about what you're doing, do you? You just sort of start swinging, and it's this. We dissociate from the sort of sensible side, and we almost go back to sort of, I don't know, caveman days where we don't think about what we're doing, and we just go onto autopilot and panic and that switch off. But after a while, once you've done that so many times, it's common sense that it'll start to get less and less. But it takes time. I don't know what's going on here. We're pushing up or what? We've had a break and made a new high. I don't think I can see any type of a larger channel there. No. Panic is real. I'm all like you. How to make this work, yeah. I was a trader buddy of mine who's on the stream now and again. And I was chatting to him about, because, when do you give up work? Now, I was trading full-time and then went on to working weekends. So I get a bit from the affiliate link, which covers my trading costs. But I suppose it's that eager to get out of mainstream work, because I've always hated working for other people. There's nothing worse than getting up at ridiculous o'clock in the morning when you're knackered, knowing that you have to go there and you have to work for someone else, and all you're doing is lining their pockets. You're working your ass off for a crap wage. I've never liked that, and I was always desperate to be able to work for myself and never have to sort of rely on other people, and just, any amount of time I put into it, I'm benefiting me and my family and no one else. But I had the chat with a trader buddy I mentioned, and I think he gave up work for a time, but then felt the pressure that he needed to make this work, and that's a pressure that's uncomfortable. I didn't like that. But if you can continue to work and make a living, then you're not under so much pressure to make these PA accounts. You can take your time and let them grow without feeling the need to, as soon as you hit $2,600 to withdraw $2,000, because obviously that puts a lot of pressure on what little's left. So it's trying to find some balance. But if you're fortunate enough, depending on what your job what job you do, to work in nights, evenings, or weekends, and then give as much time to trading as you can. But obviously, you know, not everyone's lucky enough to do that. Depends on, you know, their chosen job or career. But if you can continue to work and make money, it makes the pressure so much less. There's nearly 1,000 orders between here and here. Between 88.75, which is about there, and 400, which is there. Yeah, there's a truckload of orders. So I would say it is likely to get into this area. And we've had a break and a new high. It might just go a bit. In fact, this may end up being a bigger channel. Possibly. Who knows? I don't know. Maybe. It's a bit too early just yet. But as I say, it's best off to err on the side of caution. So we've had a break and a new low. Doesn't mean it's going to come down. It could go up. I work about 62 hours a week, no days off. I'm tired of it. Yeah, I don't blame you, mate. That's ridiculous, that is. I mean, the average working week over here is about 40 hours or just a touch over, so you're working the equivalent of a week and a half. You got no life there, really. There's no fun. I mean, what do we trade a day? 3.5, 3 hours? I think I'm I'm probably one of the longest streamers on here. I think most others are done in an hour and a half, 2 hours. I tend to do around about the 3 hours. But a 3-hour day, if you can do a 3-hour day and earn money, it's definitely about quality of life. But I do enjoy being at home, and especially around Christmas. I love being at home. I've got to say, I'm definitely a home person. Nothing worse getting out of bed in the middle of the night. Interesting. Second entry long. That's so tempting. Break out of this little thing. Oh, I'm so tempted. Excuse me a sec. Okay, I'm just going to trade one of my accounts.
Order submitted.
I like this, just one of them, because I don't want to trade them all. Just going to trade one of them, see if I can't push up to that liquidity. Yeah, I don't want to risk them all. I'll just risk one on this. It is a second entry long. We've broken out that bottom a little bit. We're at the bottom. I do expect to get to that liquidity, so I'm just going to trade the one. Make sure everything else is off. Yeah, it is. One leg, 2 legs. Just go for a couple of points. As long as it finishes bullish, I don't mind just risking the one. There is a lot of liquidity up there, see, so nice to only if it ends up strong. Come on, come get me. Come on. Come on. Come and get me. That's a shame. Usually, that'll nick you as soon as you drop it in. We've had a break and we've had 2 legs back. There's a lot of liquidity up there, a massive liquidity. So I think it's worth 2 points. That's where my 2 points would have been. There's also going to be some stops there and there. So if that breaks above there, it'll hit them stops and that'll pick up 2 points instantly. Okay. There's 2 points. Unfortunately,
Order
didn't
cancelled.
get me. There we go. Missed it as well. Yeah, it is a second entry. I like where it sits on there. There is a massive liquidity, and it's quite strong at the moment. So, I mean, my order would have been there. So 2 points. That pushed above 2 points. In fact, it would have been slightly lower there. Yeah, it would have been there. Didn't get filled. No, it's pushed up quite strongly. So I'd say it's almost definitely going to get into this area here. So there is 1,000 orders, 98.75 to 4,400. Just to me, it's one leg back and another leg back, followed by a bullish bar. It broke out of there, pushed back up, so I think it's worth 2 points. I wouldn't want to go higher, but although I think it's going to go there, unfortunately. You know, where something's a bit more risk, so instead of risking all 4 accounts, I don't mind just risking $200 on the one account. So let's just toggle that back on, put it back to 24. Let me just check. It's picking up all orders.
Order submitted.
Yes. Excellent. Cancel.
Order cancelled.
It's gone. Brilliant. Stop orders. To be honest with you, I found it's, I don't know, maybe it's not many. I think it's less than 1 in 10 that doesn't trigger. And the beauty is, I put my order actually on the close, so I save a tick. And what I do in a lot of cases is give myself an extra tick down the bottom, and sometimes that'll save you. And not just that, if you drop an order there, just as it pushes up in a market order, we've all done it, it'll kick it off, and then you've got to right click and do it again, and by that time it's gone up. Whereas if it hits it on a limit order, the limit order will stay there until it either so it comes back and hits it. So you're guaranteed to get in without getting kicked off. You're not guaranteed to get picked up on the order, but you're guaranteed it's not going to get kicked off. And what I found is with these trade copies, I get less problems getting in on limit orders than I do on market orders. No idea why. Probably because of limit order. The trouble is, if I drop a market order there now and it hits it, it might trigger none of them or some of them. Whereas a limit order, it doesn't matter. It'll just sit there till it's picked up. So usually when it pushes down, it'll pick them. It'll sit there for a second. It'll pick them all up. So, you know, we're all good. So that clearly made... I'd have only done it for 2 points, but we've got such a large amount of orders up here. I can't see us... I mean, we had this break and we sideways pushed up. We've come back again, pushed up, come back again, pushed up. For me, it's too close to this massive liquidity, and there is this 475, 76, 78, 9. There's over 1,000 orders just within there. So it certainly for me was worth 2 points, and like I say, I wasn't going to risk my whole 4 PAs on them. But if something is a bit risky, but I think, you know, it interests me, then I might just drop 3 of them and trade one. That's the beauty of having multiple accounts. You can trade 1, 2, or none of them. But I wasn't prepared to chase it, because obviously every tick I go higher, obviously the higher it's going to go to cut through my profit. So it's starting to eat through some of that now. So 43.99 and a half. So another, once it hits this, that'll pick up all that liquidity. In fact, it's a tad below there, so it won't even need to go up that high. Okay, so we're a tick, say 2 ticks from pushing through that. Okay, so 44.0. Yeah. So whether it'll push right through it or not remains to be seen. But for me, all I'm interested in is getting in there. I don't care whether it, because sometimes, you know, if that was where the bunch were to come out, I always like to get out before. I always like to just err on the side of caution. So I was happy just to tick above there if that was where I was going to take my profit, and that would have comfortably given me 2 points. And it was a nice second entry, actually. Second entry, just because we've had a break and a new high doesn't mean it's not going to continue higher. But it was one leg down, two legs down. Nice second entry long. That's where I love them there. Sitting on there. EMA still facing up. Yeah, trouble is if you do use a stop order, and as you drop it, it pushes up, it could kick it out, in which case you'd have to go through it again. And I've had it kick me out 3 times and then it's gone. So sometimes you'll miss them on market orders. So that's why I think there's a better hit rate on a limit order and you save yourself a tick. Yeah, because on the odd occasion I've dropped a market order, it pushes and it kicks me out anyway, and then it, it goes. But then with market orders, sometimes some will get filled and won't, so they're more problematic. Okay, so we've picked up some of that liquidity. Now there is about 700 orders left, up to 44,0025. So 39.05. So between there and there. So may go a bit higher. It's hard to say. Sania. Target given yesterday may complete today. 436.50. How did you have cancel? How did you have the cancel flatten there? Oh, that there. That's a piece of software called One Click Trader. It just enables me, because normally, say if you're doing an order, you've got to right click in there, but with this I can just hold down the Alt key. I've got it set to limit at the moment, and I can just
order submitted
above and below put my orders there without having to right click.
Order cancelled.
Excuse me a sec. Sorry about that. Also, it's on limit the order. I can put a stop order as well, so I just hold down the Alt key.
Order
and
submitted.
it'll give me buy stops above it, or automatically sell stops below it, and then I can just
order cancelled.
There's a bunch of stuff you can do on here, but it just makes things quicker. But it is $200. There is a link in the description of all my videos if you're interested, and I can't get any discount off here. There's no discounts, no affiliates, nothing like that. But Mark Whiten is the guy that designed all this. He comes on the stream from time to time, so but it's $200. But the link is in the description if you do. And he lets me use one for free, so he does let me use one. There are a bunch of other things it does as well. You can sell above, so if you click buy, it'll buy above it or sell below it. There's a bunch of stuff you can do. I haven't even scratched the surface, to be fair. It does way more than I need it for, really, but it just makes things a bit quicker sometimes. Depending on how quick your machine is, sometimes when you do that, you know what it's like sometimes if you haven't cleaned your cache and your system's running a bit slow, sometimes you can click there and you get, I've just done it, look. Click there and you get nothing for a second. My machine's pretty quick, so, but, and then obviously you've got to locate where you want. Whereas I don't need to do that. I've got mine set on limit order, so I just press the Alt key and then click.
Order submitted.
And they're there above and below, and then I can just...
Order cancelled.
There it is anyway, yeah. It's called One Click Trader. Sania. 4397. Above this, further bullish. 4397. So, 4397. Yeah, so there is that bunch of liquidity there. There is some more at 4404. Oh, one. Which is there. We have yesterday's highs, which are up there. So It is starting to slowly grind up, isn't it? Let's go for... oh, shit. Let's go work from the tops. There's something there. I'm not sure what it is yet. Actually, maybe it is just a bigger channel. Okay, that kind of works. Actually, I'm not a massive fan of it. $45.25. Ooh, pending buy target may take time. Yeah. Interesting. Maybe second entry long. Get something here. Don't know, it's a bit congested again, isn't it? Maybe something similar to that. Second entry long and another push higher. Second entry long, another push higher. Get something that pushes below here and then closes above it. Trouble is, same thing with there. It makes it a bit more risky because it's a little bit congested. Yeah, see, if I'm going to get to that 4,400, I want this to drop out here and give me my bullish bar here, giving me plenty of room to the top, same as there. Okay, 4,400, here we come. Once we can get above that top line there, that's eating that big lump. Okay, sucking all them up now. There we go. Okay. So yeah, it's just starting to look bullish, isn't it? So, it's not too bad. Yeah, see, that looks really nice now, doesn't it? Okay, touch, touch, touch. Close enough. Interesting. Okay, so there's a new low, maybe a higher low, maybe trap some shorts. Shame about that. Okay, guys, I'm going to finish there, actually. 800 after fees, just under $850 for the day on the 4 PAs. Those two down there are those two other Apex, which are past, so I'm just doing a micro for the next couple of days. And then that'll turn into 6 PAs then, so getting a little bit congested here. It does look like it's continuing higher. We've got some liquidity up here. Yesterday's highs up there, so I'd say a decent bar off here is probably going to push higher, but I'm happy with what I got here, so yeah, I'm not interested in getting above there because it might come down, drop down there and give us some. In fact, this could be 1, 2 possible triple test. I don't know. There's probably going to be some stops there anyway, but that's me. I'm out of this for the day. So I'll be back here tomorrow as per usual. So I appreciate all your comments, all your feedback, all your support. I appreciate our experienced guys. Sally Harjit, I don't think he's around today. Nice to have some experienced guys in us, helping us less experienced guys. Nice that they spend their time doing that. And hopefully we keep them company and give them a little bit of self-satisfaction that they're helping the new breed of traders. That's the beauty about trading. It's not competitive. We're not battling against each other. We're just battling against the market. So it doesn't matter if the guy sat next to me is doing well. It doesn't affect me in the slightest. So there we go. Good. Time to call it. Absolutely. Have a great night, mate. You too. See you, Jonathan. Yeah, I appreciate all your comments. Another successful day. Nice trade. Not a huge amount. There was some. I wish I'd have taken that. The more I look at that, the more I liked it. So that was okay. There was a second entry long gear, and I'm pretty sure Mac will mark that, and he'll mark that. Well, he should mark that. It is a higher low. We know there's support up here, so but there we go. So that's it for today. So have a great evening. Stay safe, and I'll be back here again same time tomorrow, and hopefully we'll have another day. Joe blogs anytime, mate. Really enjoy watching your show. Fantastic NC. you two guys are quite new. So when I'm here tomorrow, show yourselves again. We'll have a chat and find out where you're from. So if I've kept you company today, or I've helped you, or you've compared your charts to mine, hopefully it's about helping each other. There are things that that you guys are more experienced than me, and there's less experienced guys than me, but hopefully we all help each other out, and we all aim to get closer towards being successful, profitable, absolutely loaded, rich traders. So have a great evening, stay safe, and I'll be back here same time tomorrow, and we'll do it all again. Bye for now.